Everyone, we're back. Get your cameras on, please. Right. Good. Cameras on, everybody. Come on. All right. So we're still missing Snady. Get your camera on, please. Nidia disappeared. Marta, you're too dark today. I don't like it. All right. So where were we? Now we're going to go over problem number 8. And this is a common question that you might have on the exam. And it says a seller, Mr. Carlos, one, back to us. Thank you. Hi, how are you? A seller receives an offer of $674,000 on a property listed for $749,000. So this is the offer, right? Offer. And this is the listing price. Offer price, listing price. The question is, how much is the offer as a percent of a listing price? So we want to know, let me zoom out. What we want to know is the offer was $674, the listing price was $749. How much is that as a percentage? How much is this as a percentage of that? All right, so let's go right here. What do we have? The offer was $674,000. This is the offer. $749,000 is the listing price, and they want to know, this is the question, what is the percentage of the offer, right? So many words, and we narrow down to the two numbers we need to figure out the third. Simple as that, right? Again, we're extracting information, so then you can do the steering wheel, right? Now, guys, before you do anything else, this is the question, right? I have numbers reversed. Okay. Sorry. I pulled Orphelia here. 64. So this is the question. Percentage. I'm sorry. Page. It's on page 538. Okay, so the question is percentage. Where does percentage go? Under part, base, rate. Is it number 1, 2, or 3? Where does percentage go? All right, so that's where the question is, right? So if that's the question, now we just need to fill in the other two blanks. Where does 674, the offer, goes? Under part or under the base? Where does 674 go? I'm waiting for more answers. Where does the part or portion go? Where does offer go? Part, portion, or base? Come on. There you go. 674,000 is the offer, and the offer is a part or portion of the base. So where does the base go? It's the last thing. I'm sorry, where does the listing price go? It's the last thing to fill in, and it goes under base, 749. Quick question, guys. If there's a number on top, right, and there's a number at the bottom, what do we do? Number on top, number on the bottom. What do we do? So go ahead. 674 divided by 749. What do we have? $89.98%. Now, just so you guys know, Alexis and everybody else, usually they would ask you to round this up, right? So it would have been 90%. Okay, they would ask you to round it up. In this case, the exact number, because that's what you'll get on the calculator, and that's why I didn't round it up. And the calculator will be 89.98. If you guys look at the answers for this particular chapter, it will say 90% on it. Okay. On the test, would it be wrong? No, it just wouldn't be one of the answers. That's what I'm trying to give you a heads up, right? If you get 89.98 and then you look at the answers, there's a 90%, well, round it up, right? This is 0.02 to being a whole number. You understand? That's the only thing. It wouldn't be the correct answer, because there would be no answer to match 89.98. That's all. Any questions, guys, before I move forward? Questions? Everybody got this answer? Good. Okay. The next question, also a common question that might be in the state exam, something to this effect, is a seller requires a 1.5% deposit on all offers. A buyer wants to offer $312,000 for the property. What must the deposit be? So guys, they're giving you again two numbers. They're giving you a percentage, R, right? And they're giving you the offer, which is the base or the value, right? And the question is, right? If you guys start translating, that's what it means. So R is the rate, so percentage. B is the base or the offer. And then they want to know what the part is. How much is that 1.5%? What does it represent, right? So if we put the steering wheel together here, right? We had 1.5% deposit. This is not down payment, this is a deposit, right? We had 312,000 as an offer. And they're asking how much is a deposit. Okay, again, simple. Take the info out. There's 1, 2 numbers, figure out the third. Let's fill in the blanks. Where does percentage go? Okay, great. Great. Do you see how I automatically put both there? The percentage and the decimal right away? Okay, always do this. Get used to these things. Where does the offer go? Very good. And we're trying to figure out the part or the portion. We're trying to figure out what the part of the portion. So Nate, what's that? What's that? Whoa, whoa, whoa. What happened? What happened? Okay. We have a whole pizza pie, right? That's 100%, right? And that's the 312,000. We're taking 1.5%. This is what they want to know. How much is it? So this is the base. This is the value. Here, guys, it's always base, value, whole. The offer is 100%. The seller is requiring 1.5% deposit. So they're requiring a portion of your offer, right, to be deposited up front. So if they're asking for a portion, they're asking you to take a slice. E is always a part or portion. It's the slice. Okay, so you're always taking a slice. That's what goes up there. It's the slice. So that's what we're trying to figure out. How much is that slice? At the bottom is always the whole thing. Okay, bottom is the whole thing. What is the whole thing? 312. No, last question I said the offer is on top. You're looking at the name. The offer is a portion of this. Isn't the offer less than the whole value? Okay, so it's a portion, it's a part. Okay, don't look at what listing price says. Don't look at what offer says. I'm taking the information out. That's why I'm writing offer or listing price. Understand what the concept of the steering wheel is. What goes on top, it's always a portion or part of the whole thing. Okay? So the whole thing was 749 in the previous one. They're trying to figure out what slice is that. This is a 90% slice of this. You got it? In this question, that's what they're asking. Okay? In this question, they're asking, what's the slice? The slice is 1.5% of this thing. Okay? All right? So the names will vary, but the concept is the same. The names will vary, concept is the same. You have a whole pizza pie, we're taking a slice. They want to know how much is that slice. Okay? So we got two numbers at the bottom. We multiply. Calculators? Very good. This is the deposit. Money. While this is the deposit percentage. Very good. You guys good? All right. Perfect. Let's go for another one. Okay, this one, I'm only going to do this one because before we get into area and all that stuff, I'm only going to do this one because of how tricky it might be if you're not paying attention. Okay? Let me zoom in and go step by step. A tenant's rent is currently $650 per month. Currently, $650 per month. This rent is scheduled to increase 5% per year. Okay? What will the rent be at the beginning of the third year from now? Beginning of the third year from now. Okay? Before you guys start calculating this, before you guys do anything, listen to me. It's currently $650. It increases 5% a year. How much will it be in the beginning of the third year? So this means we got 1 year at $650, 2 years at $650 plus the increase, and the third year is what we want to know, which will be this one plus the increase. Okay, they want to know about the third year. A lot of people skip the fact that we are at $650 throughout this year. It says currently $650. They want to know about the third year. So this year does not count. There'll be no increase this year. We're currently paying $650. It increases 5% a year. What will it be in the beginning of the third? That means there's only 2 increases from this year. Okay? Now, on this, I'm going to give you guys a quick trick in your calculators. Guys, put in your calculator. Exactly like this, 650 plus 5%. Not a decimal. Not a decimal. I'm just showing you a quick trick. When you're adding, okay? When you're adding or subtracting, we don't need to use, when you're adding or subtracting, listen to me, we don't need to use the steering wheel. You can, we don't need to. When you're adding or subtracting, you don't need to use the steering wheel. You can go in your calculator and put plus the percentage. Okay, 5%. I'm going to show you how it's done in the steering wheel as well in a second. But just put plus 5%. What's the answer there? Great. So this is year number 1, right? We already got it. Number 1 is 650. Year number 2, 682.50, right? Year number 3 is 682.50 plus 5%. Okay? So again, calculators, 682.50 plus 5% is what? What's wrong with your calculators? I got different numbers. I got 717, 717.62, 716.63. That's a big rounding up. That's a big rounding up. Do not round on this one. So it's 716.62. Okay. So year number 3. This year we're paying $650 a month. By January 1st, we're going to pay $682 a month. By January 1st of the 3rd year, we're going to start paying $716. Right? You guys understand? So the question, the question was, the tenant's rent is currently $650 a month. The rent is scheduled to increase at 5% per year. And what will be the rent at the beginning of the 3rd year from now? All right. So what I'm showing you guys again is when you see the words increase or decrease, simply means a plus. If it was a decrease, would be a minus. You can go to the calculator and just do plus 5%. If you were to put in the steering wheel, here's what I want to show you guys. If it's an increase, and if you guys understood what I did here, the $650 a month is 100%, right? Because that's where we are. It's 100%. It's the whole pizza pie, $650 a month, right? So this is 100%. That means I have a whole pie, which is $650, right? Let me go right here. I got the whole pie, and then they want to have a 5% increase. So it's a whole pie plus 5% of another, right? There's an increase. So there's an additional slice, okay? So that means we have 105%, right? Because it's 100% of one plus 5% of another. Now I'm going to show you. Shanice, why couldn't you go 10%? I'll explain that in a second. Let me just finish this and then I'll go to the 10%. Okay? So 100% here plus 5% slice in this year, right? If we do the steering wheel, we have 650 and we have 1.05, which is 105%, right? And it gives you the 682. Guys, give it a try in the calculator. I'm going to show you the 3 ways to do this. One was the addition directly in your calculator. Number 2 would have been for you to understand that you have already 100%, which is today, 650, plus 5%, that's 105, right? And it gives you this result. Did everybody get this? 682.50? Everybody got it? Great, right? Because it's 105% of what the original value was. The original value last year was 650. We're in year number 2. It's 5% more than the original value. That's 105. Okay, we're good? Okay. What you could have done as well is just figure out how much the 5% was. So 650, and then the 5%, or 0.05. Calculators? So 3 ways to get this done. Whatever way you're most comfortable with, use it. It's a matter of, I'm not teaching you guys math, I'm teaching you comprehension. Okay, because that's the only thing I can teach you. Comprehension of the questions. right? And I'm not your math teacher in school. I would actually never be good to be a math teacher in school because they force you into that whole Common Core or whatever, and I would fight it every day because if you get me the right answer, the thought process is there, right? As long as you know how to explain to me how you got to the answer, why not? All right, so it would have been 3250. Now this is the increase amount, right? You'd have to do another step, which is the same thing we did here. 100% plus 5, right? In this one, you have to do 650, which is 100%, plus 3250, which is the 5%. All just to get to the 682.50. Did you guys understand? This one you do out of the top of your head because it's 100 plus 5. Boom, done. This one, it's the same thing, it's just more numbers. Like maybe you need a calculator for this, right? So 3 ways to get to the same answer. Plus 5%, right? Or this. So I would have to do the steering wheel a couple times. Now, all right, so that's exactly the same thing that Shanice was doing, I guess, Lula, is what you're doing. I'm going to explain. The reason why we can't do 10%, right, is because, Shanice, you're listening, right? I want to make sure you're there before I explain, because since you had the question initially, and then I'm going to explain for Lula as well, and for everybody. All right, great. So the reason why we can't do 10% is because it increases 5% a year, right? That means next year, it's going to be 5% more than the previous year, right? Let me show you. If it was 10%, then it would be 650 plus 65, which is the 10%, right? That would be an incorrect answer. That's not the right number. The right number is 760 and 62. Per year means compound interest. It compounds on top of the previous one, and the previous one, and the previous one. Just like your mortgage is not 5% for 30 years divided by 30. No, it's 5% compound interest. So 5% of using the money for 1 year, right? And then 5% of using the money for another year. So on top and on top, right? And so on. Just like your credit cards. If you leave money behind, they're charging interest on top of the previous interest that you did not pay right away. It's compound per year. You guys understand? So the 10% could never be applied right away because they say 5% per year. If it's per year, it's compound. Okay? So 5% of the previous one, and then 5% of the previous one, and so on. Did you get it? Denise, Lula? So you're asking the question, so got it? Okay, great. Denise, got it? Great. Perfect. Nady, are you okay? You got a worried face. Good? Oh, okay, all right. Making sure. Danny, did the spider get out of the way already? All right, good. No spider. Okay, great. All right, guys, you're good? All right, so this is the only reason why I brought this up is that there might be a question where property value for tax purposes increased a certain amount, or property value increased a certain amount a year. We're trying to sell on the third year, for instance, right? What is the current value of the property, right? So that could be a question. Very similar to this. For the rent, could be a question of value, okay? Great. All right, Saddam. Saddam says, I finally got the concept. Great. All right, so what we're going to do next is we're going to go to area. This is going to be our last part of the session is going to be area. So we're going to calculate all these, okay? And then we finish the class. So, calculating area. Oh, guys, also there's in the YouTube channel, like I said, under real estate explanations, right? I added the practice exams. I'm going to add quizzes. that I have from before, right? Because math is math, so it doesn't matter. Got the quizzes and math chapters there. It's strictly math. Okay, so there's a lot more examples there for you guys to go over. Definitely take advantage of it if you have questions. Okay. Lula's asking which page. We are on page 535. All right, so we're going to calculate the area of a rectangle with a height of 4 feet and the base of 36 feet. I want you guys to go to the cheat sheet that I gave you in the beginning. In this cheat sheet, you have the first portion is a rectangle, right? Which is a square, right? Anything that has rectangles, so the 90 degrees, is considered a rectangle. So if it's a square, it's a rectangle. Not all squares, not all rectangles are squares. So this will apply for rectangles and squares, which is width times length equals area. That's the formula. There's 3 elements to this question. 3 elements. Just like the percentage questions, there's 3 elements. So what I did was adapt the steering wheel example. I adapted to the area. If you have the area and you have the width, you divide the area by the width to figure out the length. Okay? If you have the area and the length, you divide the area by the length to figure out the width. If you have the outside numbers, which is width and length, you simply multiply. That's the only thing you have to do, right? So here's the variations of the formula. Width times length equals area, and then area divided by width equals length. Area divided by length equals width, all right? So again, inside number always divides by outside number. Outside numbers always multiply. So they want to know what is the area of a rectangle that has 4 feet by 36 feet. That was a question, right? Let's go back here. Yep. Okay. State exam will never talk about height or base for rectangles. This is width. So I'm just translating from the book. I don't know why they use it this way. Width, and this is length. Okay. Now, another word for width and length. Okay. And always keep these the same. Always keep the same. Okay. This is also called frontage. And then how deep it is. Okay. Frontage because it's facing the road. It's the beginning of the lot that faces the road. That's usually where we start measuring the lot. It's from one of the points that starts on the road. Okay, so when we're talking about width, let me go back to this. Okay, that means that the road is right here. That's why width is always, like I said, frontage. And length is always deep. So they might ask you, a lot that measures let's say 40 feet wide, how deep is it? Well, they want to know the length then. Okay? So if they tell you 40 feet wide, how deep is it? It's going to give you the area, and you just got to divide area by width to get to that. Okay? In this case, they're asking, what's the area of a lot that measures, or a room, for instance, that measures 4 feet wide by 36 feet deep? We multiply. And the answer is, guys, who got the answer? Oh, Valerie. Hey, what's up? 144. Now, 144 what? Because we're multiplying feet, this is now called square feet. Okay? Because we're multiplying feet, it's a square, a foot by a foot, right? And it's square feet. Area is always, always, always presented in square feet. Okay? Area is always, always, always presented in square feet. Why is this important? Because they might ask you a question that involves acres. This is why in the cheat sheet, I have this right here. If they say that the lot measures half an acre, I'm going to give you an example real quick. The lot is, half an acre, and it measures 90 feet wide. How deep is it? You guys need to divide the inside number by the outside number. The problem is, here they gave you acres. All right? You need to bring this back to square feet. Now, 1 acre is 43,560 square feet. Okay? If it's half an acre, then it's 21,780. You need to divide this by 2 and bring it back. 43560 divided by 2 is 21,780 square feet. Because it's half of an acre. You guys with me so far? Great. Now, inside number divides by outside number. So if it's 21,780, we're going to divide it by the outside number, which is 90 feet. What is the area? How deep is this lot? Calculators real quick. 21,780 divided by 90. $21,780 divided by 90. Not square feet. Feet. Not square feet. We had square feet. Okay? If we have a square foot divided by a foot, it equals a foot. If we have a foot multiplied by a foot, it equals square feet. Okay? So 242. Valerie wrote 240. Did I do something wrong? Okay, 242. You guys good? Always, if they give you something other than square feet, you need to be able to bring it back to square feet. So, one easy way to remember this, one easy way to remember square feet is you got 4 squirrels. And these 4 squirrels are going, then going down Route 35. And they're going at 60 miles per hour. So, 4 squirrels. Oh, I forgot one thing. They're in a acorn car. 1 acre is an acorn car. So the 4 squirrels are in a 1 acorn car, and they're going down Route 35 at 60 miles an hour. 1 acre equals 4 squirrels, Route 35 at 60 miles an hour. So remember, they're going down to the beach and they're under the speed limit so they don't get caught by the cops, because it'll be very weird, right, if the cops stop squirrels while driving. Very weird. But they're entitled to, not the chipmunks, okay, not Alvin, right, and the chipmunks. We're talking about actual squirrels. So that's why they go in an acorn car. Very important. 1 acre, 4 squirrels, Route 35, 60 miles an hour. Okay? You guys got it? One easy way to remember this. Another way, and again, guys, it's whatever works for you. Whatever works for you. I don't like this other way, but a lot of teachers use this way, which is 7-11. Okay? They use a 7-11 because 4 plus 3 is 7, 5 plus 6 is 11. Make sure you don't forget the 0. The only reason, I'm going to tell you right now, the only reason I don't like this, oh, Lula just wrote it. I'll tell you why I don't like it. Very simple. Because 5 plus 2 is also 7. Because 3 plus 4 is also 7. 2 plus 5 is also 7. There's too many variables, these numbers. You guys understand? That's the only reason why I don't do the 7-11 plus the 0. The only reason. Some instructors like to talk about it. If it works for you, great. 7, because it's 4 plus 3. 11, 5 plus 6, and then 0. That works. I always like, if you guys have not noticed, while I'm teaching, I always like stories. Stories usually help. 4 squirrels in an acorn car found Route 35 at 60. Right? It works for a lot of people. And this was taught to me, by the way, taught to me by one of my students about 4 years ago, 5 years ago now, probably. One of my students told me that that's how her daughter learned in school. And it's been working. And I always tell the story because there was one student that as he's listening to this, Alex is his name, as he's listening to this, he's sitting in the front row, this other student's sitting all the way in the back, and he goes like, that's stupid. Just like that. In the middle of the class. Right? In person, by the way, not a virtual. And he goes, that's stupid. Well, came the math chapter, because this is somewhere in a different chapter, like 5 chapters before, right? Comes the math chapter. Guess who remembers the stupid story? The guy that said, that's stupid. He's the one that remembered. He actually goes the whole thing. When I ask how much is an acre, he's the one that said 4 squirrels, Route 35, 60 miles an hour. I looked at him and I said, well, I thought you said that was stupid. Yeah, but it sticks to your head. So it kind of works. All right? Story, guys. Always try to figure out a story. Always try to figure out a story to remember something. It's a lot easier. All right, so we got that out of the way. The answer was 144, right? The other thing, the reason why I put road and the reason why I put frontage here is sometimes lots are being sold, let's say at $400 per front foot. So if something is being sold at $400 per front foot, right? Then we don't need this. We only need this. Because this is the front feet. Right? Because this is frontage. This is facing the road. So if you see a question that says $400 per front foot, well, all we needed to do is multiply by 4 feet. Because that's the frontage. And that will give us the answer. You guys understand? So $1,600 is the cost of this particular room, let's say. Okay, 4 by 36. Kind of room it would be, but as an example. You guys understand? Because it's per front foot, we only need one number. They gave us both numbers, but we only needed one. Okay? You guys good with this? Great. Let's go to the other questions. All right. Next question is, what is the area of a square with a side of 16 foot? If it's a square, that means all sides are equal. What is the area? I'm going to let you guys do that one before I chime in, okay? One thing I do recommend, guys, is always, by the way, if it talks about area, always draw the area that we're talking about. Always. You can put it on top, I'm sorry. Always put it like this, I'm sorry. Valerie, no. Frontage was 4 feet in that example. Sorry, guys. As you guys doing this, let me show Valerie something else. So, Valerie, in the question, this is the question. They gave us 4 feet by 36 feet. Okay? So, all I asked is sometimes the question says, hey, a lot is 4 feet by 36 and is being sold at $400 a front foot. So if they're saying sold at $400 per front foot, Valerie, we do not need this number. We just need this one because this is frontage. It's the front of the lot facing the road. So that's why I said $4. I'm sorry, $400, which is what the lot's being sold at. $400 times the front feet. The front feet is 4. Okay, that's what it was. All right. Let me know if you got it, Valerie. All right, did everybody get it? What's the answer for this? The area is, Alexis, you need to put space there, spaces between. The area is 256 square feet. Why? Because it's width times length. The outside numbers always multiply. Outside numbers always multiply. Okay? Now, Valerie, I noticed there you put 64. That happened also in the previous class where a student added the lines 16 plus 16 plus 16 plus 16. Right, area is calculated by width times length. So, Valerie, if I wanted to know the linear foot, right, the linear foot of this lot, then yes, the question would have been 16 plus 16 plus 16 plus 16, linear foot, right? But they're not asking for linear foot, they're asking for area. Area is always one side times the other side. Okay, so 16 times 16 is the area. 16 times 16 is the area, always. Valerie, in 16 times 4 would give you the linear foot of this square. So that would not work. Area is width times length. One side times the other. So we have it here in the cheat sheet. Let me clear this out. I see it again. Area is always one side times the other. Width times length equals area. Okay? If you have an inside number, you divide by the outside number. If you have area, you divide by the width to figure out the length. If you have area, you divide by the length to figure out the width. Okay? Area, always multiply area. No, area is always one side times the other. Width times length, always. All right, that's why the cheat sheet, let me put it here for you. All right, I just sent you a link here, Valerie. It's a link to this cheat sheet that will help you a little bit, okay? All right. Good. Is right here. All right. Now we have a trapezoid. What does that mean, trapezoid? It means this. Okay? That's a trapezoid. It says the height or width is 5. Okay? 5 feet. And the bases or length are 6 and 8. How do we figure out the area of this trapezoid? Okay? Or irregular room. If you go into a room that has a little, weird shape, like the room that I'm in right now, it's not an actual square. So there's certain areas of the room that are at an angle. Okay? It's tough for me to figure out the total area that I have because there are some cuts different ways. So how do we figure this out? We go here. And right there. Okay? So for us to be able to figure this out, we need to divide into two known shapes. Into a rectangle and a triangle. We need to separate it all together. Rectangle, triangle. We're going to have to calculate them separately. Now, rectangle, you guys already know how to do this, right? You guys already know that the area of a rectangle is width times length equals area. So 5 times 6 equals area. How much is 5 times 6? Okay. So the area of the rectangle, right? You already got this. Separate these shapes all together. Make it easier as you guys doing your calculations. The area of the rectangle is 30 square feet. As you guys can tell, I was always very good at coloring. Right? There you go. That's a rectangle. And then we need to figure out the area triangle. Now this one we didn't figure out yet how to do. Keep it within the lines, Bruno. Keep it within the lines. Come on. As much as I try to teach my kids, I make the same mistake. All right. So two different areas. Rectangle, triangle. We separate it into two. Now, how do we figure out the area of a triangle? We haven't covered this yet, right? But if you go here, in the cheat sheet, a triangle usually is the height times base or base times height divided by 2. Usually that's what it is. I want you to forget height and I want you to forget base. I want you to change this into width and length, okay? No, I know, Valerie. You need to, fortunately, need to type it, copy and paste, or whatever you can do. Or send me a message and I'll on WhatsApp, and I'll send you the link directly. So you got my number. If not, the number is 908-418-8325. Shanice, is this okay? Is it readable? Because she always complains about my handwriting. Is it readable? No answer, so it must be good. I don't know. All right, so Valerie, again, send me a message through WhatsApp, and I will send you the cheat sheet. Okay. Let's go back to this. All right, so I want you to translate height times base, translate into width times length. Why? Because if you guys notice, right, this right here, when we close the box, it becomes a square, right? And the thing that's missing here from the square all right, if I do this now, if I cut this in half, you guys will notice that this is the mirror of this, and this is the mirror of this. So technically, a triangle is half of a square. You guys get used to width times length, and then you divide by 2, right? And it's a square. A triangle is a square divided by 2. And I'm going to prove it to you right now. Okay? Two different types of triangles, correct? If I close the box on these two, this is a rectangle, and this is kind of a square, correct? Let me zoom into this one. The triangle, right? But if I close the box, the lines all the way up, it becomes a rectangle. If I cut it down now here, you will notice again that this right is a mirror of this. Wow, don't even announce yourself. Cheat sheet, thank you. That's what I get on WhatsApp. Like, hey Bruno, it's me. No, it's like, hey, cheat sheet. See how it is? See how it is. So, this is a mirror of this. And then this right here not perfect, I'm sorry, but this right here is a mirror of this. Being a mirror, it's the other half that's missing. You guys understand? This is an exact mirror, so the exact half that's missing from the triangle, and there as well. So A, B, B. Exactly the same. So what was missing in the triangle? Half. Okay? So again, that's why I keep on saying the easiest way to remember is width times length. And if it's a triangle, you divide by 2. Width times length divided by 2 equals area for triangles. And here, exactly the same. Same concept. Half, 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 half. So A and B. You guys got it? Simple enough, right? So with that being said, we know, going back to the question, we know that this right here is 5. That's the width of the triangle. But we're still missing a number, because for us to calculate width times length, or even base times height, we need another number. But the number is missing. Why is it missing? Because we need to close the box. Okay? Now guys, because we closed the box, if this would have gone all the way to the end, right? If it would have gone all the way to the end, it would have been 8 feet, just like here at the bottom. Okay? But where did it stop? Right here. So we're missing something here. What are we missing? The whole 8 feet minus the 6. We're missing 2 feet. So now we got 2 numbers. The triangle is 5 by 2. Okay? 5 by 2. Triangle is width times length divided by 2 equals area. In this example, it's 5 times 2, which is 10, right? And then we divide the 10 by 2, which is 5. 5 square feet. Okay. But is that what we needed to figure out the area? Is that what we needed? There's something missing here. We don't need 2 separate areas. We need the total area, right? So if we cut it right there, we created 2 areas. Now we need to put them together into 1. So the total area is the rectangle plus the triangle equals that trapezoid. So 30 plus 5 equals 35 square feet. The total area is the separate areas. Add them together, 35. So every time you have an irregular room or irregular lot, what you guys have to do is divide it into known shapes. They gave you this, cut them into pieces until you have known shapes, rectangles, triangles. Okay? In the state exam, you might have a question as an example where the lot or the room is like this. Okay, also irregular. It's an irregular shape. So you have to cut right here and turn it into 2 known shapes. You guys understand? So all you have to do is cut it into pieces until you get areas that are easy to calculate. Any questions here? Questions? Once? Twice? All right. Tubers, no questions. So funny. Valerie goes like, sorry, I was rushing to get back to the video on my phone. I am the infamous, and then Valerie, who stalks your videos. Okay. So the first thing was, hey, cheat sheets. And then it's like, hey, it's me, the stalker. Right, I get it. No problem. Lula, you're asking about here? No, here we don't divide by 2 because it's a square or a rectangle. We don't triangles only. We divide by 2. My point was, if they give you an irregular lot somehow, whether it's a trapezoid or if it's something like this, right? You have to bring it back to known shapes no matter what. So if this was, let's say 5, right? And here they would give you 2, because sometimes that's how they do it, right? And this would be 10, right? So this 2 right here, because you will see that these are the same size, right? That means it's 2 over there, right? And 2 over here, okay? If we were to cut it, that means that this thing here is 3. We got 2 known shapes, right? This, because it's cut here, this is 8, that is 3. The area for this first one, I'm going to call this number 1 shape and this number 2 shape, right? The area would have been 5 times 8 for number 1. And for number 2, the area would have been 3 times 2. Okay, that's it. You got it? I don't know. Where did I get, oh, you wrote, okay. Where did I get the 3 from? Sorry. It's the same concept. If you were to close the box, I'm putting some glitter on. If you were to close the box, the whole thing would have been 5. We know that that one's 2 right there, right? So 5 minus 2 is 3. Just a matter of always closing the boxes, right? Separate it into, put it into separate areas, close the boxes, okay? Hold on. Valerie, what's the 8, 6? I'm a little lost. You wrote behind and then you said no. Please explain so I know where I'm at. Did everybody get this? Always cut it into known shapes. It's easy to figure out what's the difference between them, right? We close the boxes. Questions? Questions? All right, cool. So the next question here. More for area. This one's for you guys to remember from when we talk about legal descriptions. Under legal descriptions, we talked about there's the meets and bounds, there's the government survey method, and there's the plat or subdivision or the block and lot method, right? Under the legal descriptions, we have the government survey, which is that southwest and northeast and so on, right? What you need to remember from there is exactly this that I have in the cheat sheet. You need to remember that each section clear this out. Each section is 1 square mile or 640 acres. Each section is 1 square mile or 640 acres, right? So a township is divided into 36 sections, and each section is 1 square mile or 640 acres, all right? This is what you got to remember. So if we go here to the question, they're asking you to calculate section 14 and section 20, how much, or how many acres, I'm sorry, does the southwest quarter of the north half quarter of the east half quarter have? East half half. Sorry, half. Let me go back. I'm sorry, tongue twister. How many acres does the southwest quarter of the north half of the east half have? Okay, and here the same. So for that, you got to do one simple thing, which is you don't have to draw, but it'll be helpful. So we have right here, north, south, right? No, I know, Alexis. So we're looking at the east half, right? Where's the east? It's this one right here, okay? And then on the east half, they divide it in half again. And they're talking about the northern half. So that's the top, okay? On the northern half, they divide by a quarter. And now we have north, south, west, east. They're trying to figure out the southwest quarter. Southwest quarter. So, southwest. How many acres do we have right here? Okay? A whole section, as we just looked over here, whole section is 640 acres. That's a whole section. That means (640 acres, the whole thing, right? That means the half of that is 320 acres, the half, right? And then the half of that, which is a quarter, is 160 acres. So this is a quarter of that, right? How much is a quarter of 16? 40 acres. Okay? You can also, the other way is this, 640 divided by 2, divide by 2, divide by 4. Same thing, 640 acres divided by 2, because it's half, right? Divided by half, divided by 4. 40 acres. You guys with me so far? The last one, and then we're done. Got one more here. The southeast quarter. Southeast quarter of the northwest quarter of the southwest quarter. So we divide by 4, right? The southeast quarter is this one. We're going to divide by 4. We have the northwest quarter, which is this one. And they want to know about the southeast quarter of that west quarter, if you guys remember this, right? So the southeast is this one. How many acres does this have? Because that's the question. How many acres? Again, the whole thing is 640. So each quarter is 160. Okay? A quarter of the quarter is 40. That means that the quarter of the quarter of the quarter is 10. So, to make it easy, divide by 4, divide by 4, divide by 4. 640 divided by 4 is 160, divided by 4 is 40, divided by 4 is 10. That will be the answer if they ask you about the acreage of any of these lots, one or the other. Not that bad, right? Once you see halves and quarters, all you got to do is divide. I give you two methods right here. It's either draw and identify it, or divide by whatever they're telling you. I make it sound simple. It is simple once you grasp the concept. Again, I cannot do anything other than try to make sure you guys comprehend the questions or grasping the concepts. Other than that, I cannot do anything else. So what I try is find always different ways, right, to explain the same thing. That's the only thing I can do. Once he clicks, right? Once he clicks, you guys will be like, oh, yeah, it was that simple. I guarantee you. All right? There you go. Feeling better, Alexis? Good. All right, guys, do you have any question in particular that you'd like to go over? We're pretty much done. I've went through all types of examples that might show up in the state exam. Is there anything? Can I explain 10? You want me to explain how I got to 10? All right. Ready? Easiest way. Each section is 640, so divide by 4. It's 160. Then it asks to divide by 4. That's 40. And then it asks to divide by 4 again. That's 10. There. 10. Quarter of a quarter of a quarter. Good? Easy. Again, you either draw it, understanding that's 640, and you divide it by 4 in every step of the way, or in this case was divided by half, figuring out where you are, or just understand that because it's half, you divide by 2, because it's a quarter, divide by 4, one or the other. Valerie says dividing it's easier and less time consuming. Sure. Whatever works for me. It's whatever works for you guys. I'm always give you different ways to get to the same thing. So the key is to remember 640. Yes, and that's why the key is for you to get the cheat sheet and memorize these. The trick, guys, is this is the last thing you do before you get into an exam. You grab the cheat sheet, you look at it, try to remember as much as you can. In the state exam, they allow you to have one blank piece of paper. So as soon as you grab the blank piece of paper, write down as much as you remember from here. That's the first thing you can do. All right, so you look at the proctor and you let him know, if you're doing it remotely, you let him know, hey, I'm just going to write down a few things on a blank piece of paper. You show him the blank piece of paper. I'm going to write down a few things, and they cannot tell you not to write a few things because those are your notes, right, on a blank piece of paper. So it's not like you're cheating, right? When you get to the state exam, if you guys go to the actual location, they'll give you a piece of paper. Same thing. You got nothing else with you, so there's nothing stopping you from writing a few things down, right? So the last thing you do, look at the cheat sheet. First thing you do when you sit down, don't even touch the computer. Write down as much as you can remember. Put it to the side because you're going to skip all the math. You're going to leave the math to the end. So put it to the side. It's the first thing you do, right, is writing it down. And the last thing you do is go over the questions that are for math. You guys got it? That's the easiest way. Long questions, skip. Math questions, skip. If you're taking too long answering a particular question, skip. Okay? The quickest, the best tip that I can give you guys is answer the questions you're 100% sure and they're easy. Boom, out the way. This way you answer 80% of the exam in the first hour, and you got 20% to dwell with, oh, what is this? What is it that? How do I do this? How do I do that? So you got plenty of time after that. Okay. Valerie just said the same thing I just said, which is go through the easy ones first and leave the hard ones to the end. Yep. Lula, can I send the link? Yep, I'll put it here. Again, it is in the student portal again, and the student portal is back up. I'm sorry, they were doing maintenance on the site. It is in the student portal. Orphelia, I'll take the 4 hours. If you need to. Just remember one thing. While you're doing the student exam tomorrow, while you're doing the student exam, I'm going to be here seeing if you guys do the biggest mistake that everybody does, which is you completed the exam and then you go back and change answers. Nobody needs 4 hours. If you do in 4 hours, there's only 2 reasons for this. English is your second language, so you're trying to translate things, right? That takes a little bit longer. Or you're changing answers, and that's a big mistake. Nobody needs 4 hours. I can guarantee you that. If it does take you 4 hours, it's one of these 2 things. You either need it because English is second language, or you're making mistakes, changing answers. Okay? But also don't finish in 30 minutes. Don't be impatient and finish in 30 minutes, as I had some people do, and they fail. Take your time, read the questions. If their questions are, too hard for you, like you're trying to figure out, skip them. Right? In my exam, there's an option that says bookmark. In the state exam, it says mark. The difference between my exam and the state exam is that you can mark it without answering. My exam, unfortunately, the developers still did not create a way. They're working on that, creating a way for you to mark without having to answer. So all you have to do is remember that the questions you marked, you still did not answer. But when you go back to them, forget whatever you selected. Don't go by that. All right? That's the only thing. All right? Any questions, guys, before I let you go? Going once. All right. Orphelia, English is my second language. I take my time. All right. Lula, what time? So it's going to be at 10 a.m. I'm sending the link in a little bit for everybody. All right? It's going to be at 10 a.m. for you guys to do the exam. Same as this class, from 10 to 2. And everybody's going to pass, right? Okay. Listen to me for a second. Tomorrow is the school exam. My best advice to you, out of all, my best advice, don't think about passing or failing. My exam really does not matter if you pass or fail. State exam really does not matter if you pass or fail. The only difference between mine and the state is $45 that you have to pay. State exam, you pay $45 every time you go there. I'm telling you to take the outcome out of the equation, because the more pressure you put, the worse it is. Go into the exam as if, let me see what I can do, right? Let me see what's the best that I can do. Let me see where I'm at, right? That's it. Whether it's the school or the state exam, never take it as, I got to pass today, right? I'll give you the example. A few months ago, I went to take 2 exams I knew already, and most likely I would not pass. And the reason being is, I'm honest with you, I did not study at all. But I wanted to know how the exam was before I actually went and take it for real, right? So I went there, I paid the $45 for each exam, just to know how the exam was, what type of questions, what could I expect. So I went in there knowing that I was not going to pass. Funny enough, one of them I missed by 2 points, and the other one I missed by 10 points or something like that. Right? So I was that close without studying at all. I just wanted to know, right? So was I disappointed? Not at all, because I knew what I had done. I knew I had not studied. I knew I had not given my all to it, Does that make sense? So you guys know where you are, right? You know if you've been studying or not. I know the ones that have been asking me questions, the ones that haven't, right? I know the ones that I've been giving support to after hours, right? I don't know if the ones that haven't, I don't know if you guys are going to pass or not. I don't know how much work you've been putting into this, right? But I do know that the ones that participate by asking questions usually are the ones that have the highest passing rates. So communication is key. You guys got my number. It's available, right, from day one. If you do not ask questions, if you do not try Quizlets, if you do not try the practice exam, that's on you, all right? So with that being said, always remove the outcome of the equation. Try to enjoy the process. Try to enjoy the exam. Just figuring out, hey, this is what it is. Now I know what it is. You guys got it? Thumbs up? Great. Let me see here real quick. Have some messages. Valerie's just giving you a few hints. Great. Vocabulary sometimes is weak. Some people do speak English but do not look up the words you don't know. That's true. And in the Quizlets, I have a section just for real estate terms in the Quizlets. So flashcards just for real estate terms. And then she said, good luck to everyone. So guys, Valerie wishes you good luck. Valerie, we wish you good luck as well when you take yours. And I'll see you guys tomorrow in the exam. Good? If you have any questions, guys, again, reach out to me. Have a blessed day. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.